Welcome to the Leafy podcast, helping real estate investors and entrepreneurs grow. Say hello to your hosts, Jennifer Goglorick and Brian Price, founders of Leafy Legal Services, teaching you how to protect your assets, grow your business, and manage your wealth. Let's start the show.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Leafy Podcast. Thank you so much for being with us today. I'm Tammy, the podcast manager, and we also have Jennifer Goglorick, COO of Leafy Legal Services, on the line today as our host. She has another awesome guest, so I'll go ahead and pass it off to her to get started. Hey, Jennifer.
Hey there, Leafy podcasters. Well, it's Jennifer, and I have a guest today that I really want to talk to, and I feel like this guest is going to give us all a lot of great information. The person we're speaking with today is the founder and president of Caliber Security Partners. They were created in 2010 and provide cyber security, but his story is a lot different. He sits on the board of all these other companies, and after about 10 years of running his business, everything kind of went sideways, and he ended up $750,000 in debt to the government, to other businesses, and he plummeted in, of course, depression. Like, how did that happen? How did these decisions that he made did this? Well, does he fold? Well, right now, we're all going through, some really tough times, and some of us are coming through some really tough financial times. So I really wanted us to speak with him because he got through it by putting one foot in front of the other when everything was crashing down. Money was not there to fix anything, and we all just have to get through it. So this is someone who's gotten through it, and hopefully we're going to get, and I know we will, a lot of great advice. So I want us to welcome Tab Pierce to the show. Thank you so much for being on today, Tab.
Well, thank you. That was quite the awesome introduction.
You're welcome. Well, you're pretty awesome yourself. So tell us a little bit about that. So you end up, you're blowing and going. You think you're doing the right things. You're trying to be a good business owner, and womp womp, everything starts to crash.
Well, the beautiful thing is that, you had said 10 years went by and then this happened. It happened about 6 years into the business. We're 10 years old now.
Okay.
So yay, we're out of it. So thank goodness it didn't start at the 10-year point, because I'd be on the forefront of it, and that would totally suck. So, but what happened was, we were just going gangbusters. We were having our best revenue year. We had a lot of great momentum, good employees. We were kind of like, I want to say, hitting our stride and really progressing. And we had, you do a series of things, and it's almost like a domino effect. Once one falls, the next one falls on that. And we had a big contract with a company, 8 people working on that project. There was a lapse in the contract, and we kept hearing the new contract is going to be coming this week, and this week turned into next week, and next week, and next week. And we were carrying these 8 people, and that's a freaking lot, to carry. And we carried them for about 2 months, and we were like, okay, the contract is going to, they're a great client, it's coming. Well, let's take out a loan. We took out a really crappy, bad loan, which was one of the dominoes. The other was holding on to 8 people while this was going on. And, there was a third domino, and that's that we had a small division or group that just wasn't making it. And our contact at that company got transferred, and it all collapsed. And once that domino fell, we're left with this big loan. We're left with the IRS payments that we kept putting off to pay people, and all of that. So it all just kind of collapsed. And I was in denial for a long time until my accountant set me down and slapped me around and got me to just pay attention.
I said, I'm sorry, I had muted myself. I said, that's a very scary story, because I know of a very similar story. My own mother ran the largest employment or staffing agency in our little area. She ran it for 54 years before she sold it, but she had clients that had done the same thing. And it was awful, because she went from finally thinking, I finally made it, my single mom with all these kids, and I'm blowing and going, because she provided crews the on-land offshore industries like Halliburton and McDermott and Union Carbide. And a similar thing happened. She was left, and she provided all the people, and she was left hanging the bag for a massive amount of payroll. And she ended up finding a company called Damien Services that did factoring, and she learned a lot there. But it was that crash was pretty terrible, as far as like personally for her, and we went through some dark times, after that.
You can't help but feel like a fraud. You're vulnerable. You're like, I'm a fake, I suck, and all of those things that come down upon you when all of that happens.
Yeah. Like, how could I have not known? And then you're just kicking yourself. Kicking yourself, I think, is the worst thing, when there's no one to point to, because you're the business owner.
Yeah.
So you can want to say it's this, but internally we're like, yeah, but I made that choice. I hired that person. I trusted this person, or I trusted that. I should have known better. And those are the things that keep you up at night, where you can't sleep and you're just wanting to go,
Yeah. But it's also liberating knowing that you're not blaming anybody else, that you're owning up to the problem.
Well, it's the most powerful. You take back your power, because if you screwed it up that bad, then you sure as hell can fix it.
Absolutely.
One thing I forgot to mention, guys, is that all of this comes into a nice book too. He is also the author of Upsurge, Wreckage to Triumph, Rebuilding Your Personal and Business Life. I forgot to say that, and of course we'll have the links always. So I want to just ask you, when you're doing debt recovery in a business, and you have like literally this wreckage that you've helped cause, how do you emotionally steel yourself up to get through all of that when you're terrified, at the end of the day? How do you get through the fear?
Well, there's really, I'd love to say, do this, and then you'll be like, bing, and the fear is gone. It doesn't happen. I mean, it's a process of, just learning that, one of the big things that I felt was that I didn't have any power. I was beholden to these people and these businesses, everything. And that if they said jump, I kind of had to jump. And, I may not like it, but I have to jump. One of the things that finally, and it's interesting because, most people know this, but, the IRS doesn't forgive the debt. They're just like, oh, that sucks that you had to file bankruptcy, but we're going to get our money.
Yeah.
And so I use that as a threat to people. I would say, if you do this, I'm going to file bankruptcy and nobody's going to get their money. And the only reason I'm keeping it alive right now is because I have to pay the IRS back, not you. And I started taking back my power and just saying, we're either going to do this my way or it's not going to get done. And I had this imaginary line that went kind of in my head, it went around a building. I had 18 people in line. Some people I could see their face because I knew them. Other people just, fuzzy. And I would tell people, everybody has a spot in that line. If you get out of that line and you make too much of a stink, nobody's getting their money. I'm filing bankruptcy. And I had to do that. Like with the hardest one was the hard money lender, man. I mean, going toe to toe with them was phenomenally brutal. But you have to take that power back. And the more you do that, you're just like, I'm going to put that out there. The more you stop living in fear. You don't fully stop living in fear, but you push back.
Wow, because I got to tell you, that's a hard one. I'm not so much as a pushback person in my personal life, and so with things like that, I get into fear when I shouldn't, because money is money, and it's something I'm having to learn. What I was taught about money as a kid, save every penny, blah blah blah, never get any credit, do this, is completely wrong. Successful people, the wealthiest people, they think about money very differently. And so when you come to that point of, wait a minute, I will be unable to pay you unless I can move forward. So my only choice is to go bankrupt, and then nobody gets paid. You're not going to get a penny of it. Do you want to work with me or do you want to not? And to being able to stand up for yourself in a logical way that actually values the person you're talking to more. You want to pay them, but they have to allow you to do that, right?
Yep.
And so that's better for everyone. You're not trying to shirk your responsibility and just wipe yourself clean and went, oh, well, I made a mistake, screw you too. And then everybody and all their staff and all these people suffer, working with people. And in this society today, you have it to where we don't even want to listen to someone else's opinion.
Oh, no.
I mean, we can't live like this. We cannot continue like this. It's not working. It's not working for anyone. Echo chamber, social media is bad. It's actually a malignant force. You should be forced to listen to other opinions and be expansive and try to work with other people. And so just, I love that you said that. Looking back, on the decisions that you've made, now you have this wealth of experience, right? What are the things that you could have done to reduce that chance of that failure having happened? What lessons did you learn that you may be able to impart to us, woulda, coulda, shoulda?
You mean like, what could I have done to not gotten in that position in the first place?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, yeah, that's a great question. Often I get asked, how do you handle this? And it's like, I rarely get asked, how can you avoid it? So some of the things that we do now, one is, regardless of how rough things may get, we will never, ever, ever in any business that I'm part of go to a hard money lender. We just won't. I mean, it's just brutal. And anybody that's a hard money lender may be like, that's not that bad. It's tough if you can't make the payments. It's really hard. And so I would say, if you can't pay employees or you can't pay things, deal with it, figure it out, find other ways, talk to your employees, do whatever you have to do, but don't do that, because that was a major part of the troubles that I had for 3 years. Don't get back behind with the IRS. Just don't do that. And the other thing is if you have something going on and you're waiting for something that might happen and it's causing you money, be quick to end that. Just say, we've had it now where we've had contracts that, hey, the contract's coming at the end of the week. And we've said the contract either needs to come in by Friday or we have to let that person go. We cannot keep that person around because we can't afford to carry him. So you either have to have it then or we're not going to be able to do it. So you got to cut quick. And, those are some of the things that you just learn and the other thing I would say, and I always think about this, is learn to ask yourself good questions, hard questions. If I do this, what is the potential outcome? If we would have done that, we would never have gone with a hard money lender.
That's very interesting. Now, I know some really good hard money lenders for real estate. And so I don't know, I guess I'm on the fence of it because I happen to know really good ones that have allowed people to have entire businesses they wouldn't have had.
I will say this. I've heard that about real estate. I don't do real estate like that. Mm-hmm. So that's, if you're talking about where it's secured by something, I mean, ours was an unsecured loan. Right.
Oh,
I'm talking about you borrow a couple $100,000 and then they start ticking you every day. Here's a tick, here's a tick, here's a tick. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, the other ones because I just don't have experience in that.
Well, that's important to notice. Okay, because
Yeah.
we have a majority of our clients are in real estate, and
Oh
hard
yeah.
money is
Don't
like
listen.
what the
Don't
so.
listen to me on that, man. Don't, just
No, so
scratch what
this
I
is a
said on
different
that.
type of hard money because
Yeah.
we have like 20% that are just entrepreneurs. So there is a difference between hard money lenders for real estate and hard money lenders
Yeah.
for other things.
Let's
So
put an asterisk by my head on that one. Yeah.
yeah, that's
Totally.
okay. So let me ask you something too. So when you're getting the tick every day, so like right now, we spoke before the show that I am going toe to toe with these FHA people because right now, if you did any sort of forbearance, they want their balloon payment. Now, no one was told there would be balloon payments. Most customers were told we'll just put it to the end of the loan. That is actually a separate loan that now you will have to negotiate and write if it's allowed. It is allowed with an FHA loan. Other lenders will not allow you to do that. They want their balloon payment. So as we speak right now, during the time of we're taping this episode, and we'll be releasing this fairly soon, there's going to be people that are going to be panicking because their credit's going to get tanked and a lot of things that are going to happen. In fact, we're going to do Facebook Live on some things that you can do on that, Tammy and I. But now when there's like a fearful situation and you just want to go to sleep or get a couple bottles of wine and turn on Twilight and check your brain out the door, it just literally lifts up your skull and walks away. How can you stop that instant feeling of just retreat when it's just so bad? Like, what were some tips for that? How to get through the fear?
So yeah, there's a lot you can do. One is, take time to meditate. A lot of people don't think about that. And I was not a good meditator. It was like, I'd say, okay, I got to just 15 minutes. And the first 10 minutes was like dealing with a toddler, trying to put them to bed when they're not tired. It was like, I just didn't want to do it. But that really, once I got good at that, that was a way for me to calm myself and to like reset and that, because that was such a big deal. The other things, when I was going through it, each day was painful. I talk about it in my book how my weekend was a Friday night, not Saturday and Sunday, but Friday night, because I had peace there. But as soon as Saturday came, I knew that Sunday was around the corner and Monday was just right there, and I couldn't get out of that fear. So what I started to do is I said, I'm gonna make a plan for today, and I'm gonna drive hard on that plan. And things may happen the way I want them to. They may not happen the way I want them to, but I am going to live my plan. Tomorrow, don't care. Today is all I'm gonna do. I'm not even gonna do it tomorrow. Then I wake up the next day and I say, okay, you know what? I think I can do it one more time. I'm gonna do this plan one more time. I'm not going to worry about tomorrow. And I just lived the day. I didn't worry about what's going to happen in a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. The other thing that I learned was that life is full of bad actors, either literal or either people or entities or whatever. And they deserve the attention that they need at that moment. But the chances are that within a very short period of time, they're going to be gone. They're going to be out of your life. So you give all this attention, all this energy to a bid actor who's not even going to be there in 2 or 3 weeks. You just give all of that energy to them. And then, and what made me think of this is, or what got me into this bid actor thing was I had the hard money lender, the guy's name in my phone. And I gave so much energy to that one individual. And then he was gone. And then about 2 months later, I'm like scrolling through my phone. I'm like, oh yeah, there he is. And I totally forgot about that. And it just dawned on me that he had been out of my life and that he's never going to be in my life again. So why give him any more energy than he needed to get that paid up and done? That was it.
Wow. Yeah, that's very powerful. And I just absolutely love that. And I love the fact that for anyone who had to grow up like I did, I went to Alateen, and at a young age, I knew about the 12-step program. That is one of the basic tenets, is just make it through today. You've got this 24 hours. Don't think about anything else. Your job at that time, if you're going through recovery, is just to stay sober for today, because it's so overwhelming when you're in a crisis. And of course, people that are trying to get out of addiction are in total crisis, right? But that works for anything.
Oh, yeah.
All you have to do is make it through today. Every day is important. And so then when I started speaking, later on in life and meeting extremely successful people and business gurus, and, I worked at a company where we put like Than Merrill on stage and Kevin Harrington and all these huge big names, and meeting these people, the mindfulness, they said it very differently, but it was basically that tenet. Right now, what you're doing, you have to do the dishes. Is doing the dishes fun, right? Your dishwasher's broke. No, it's not. You have to scrub stuck up stuff on the dish. But being mindful when you do the dishes makes it differently. Get your mind out of what you were thinking and think about just, well, the suds actually smell pretty good, right? This palm olive is not a bad smell. These bubbles feel nice on my skin. I have to get through this, right? And it's amazing when you stop checking out of life, whether it's drinking or doing drugs or having sex with the wrong people, or just, video games or whatever you're using to distract yourself. Some people, it's just their mind is going on something else. They're just daydreamers. They're not doing any of that. They just are not mindful in the moment whatsoever. When you start being mindful, it really makes things a little bit better. And it's like a mini meditations, and you don't even know that you're doing it.
So the other thing I would say is, we all have all this turmoil going around us, either in our life directly, or just all the things that's going on in the world right now. Just there's so much turmoil. And sometimes you just have to stop and say, right now, as I sit here, my life is fine. Everything is okay. Everything is fine. Because in that moment, everything is fine. I have all these things going on with my company. I got all these things. Right now, everything's fine. I've got food in my stomach. I'm having a great conversation. I've got, I've got all these things, but right now everything is good. And we don't think about the now. We think about, oh my gosh, we do this incredible, shifting between living in the past and living in the future, and just kind of forget about the actual moment we're in.
Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't matter how bad you are. I have my story is I had made it through homelessness. And so there were really bad, horrible, terrible days. And I'm going to tell you, just making it, sometimes you can't make it through the day because you don't know where you're going to sleep, or you're very, very hungry at that time. You can only make it through a moment where you're sitting there and you're like, oh, look, it's a butterfly. Yeah. And it's this fleeting little moment where you have this experience with a butterfly. And that is the thing that made that day better, right? So there's living in gratefulness. And I think that that's another thing, is that fear and gratefulness are totally on the opposite ends of the scale. If you can live feeling grateful or have any bit of gratitude, it helps make the fear not be nearly as terrifying and as scary as it can be when you're going through all this. So again, guys, we've been talking with Tab Pierce. Tab Pierce is the author of Upsurge, Wreckage to Triumph, Rebuilding Your Personal and Business Life. He's with Caliber Security. You can find him at calibersecurity.com. And so anything that you can give us before we go, Tab, on right now, we're all trying to make it through this very uncertain terms, and we're trying to get it out. Now, as we're getting out, people are getting some bad news, as I talked about, from banks and other things like that, or maybe some states, they're still not letting people open up. Anything you can give them on, to get through this push to where we can get to more normal or happier existence. I don't know.
The thing that I always went back to was stay anchored. Stay anchored, stay the course, focus. I would argue that there is no bigger planner of anything in life than me. I plan to plan. I have not started planning to plan, but that'll come. And the reason why I say that is because you have to follow a plan. You have to edit that plan. You have to alter it all day long. Because at the end of the day, you want to be able to look and say, things didn't necessarily go the way I wanted them to, but I slayed it. I went at this 100% because that's what you need. I mean, you need to be able to say, things are bad and things are rough and they're hard. And I don't know what's going to happen here. But today, I slayed it. I gave everything. And for me, that was always like, I'm going to go to bed at night going, if nothing else, I did that.
That's a very good thing. And I just want to, I appreciate you coming on the show. And unfortunately, this is the end of our time, and Tammy is going to take us away. And thank you again, Tab. Again, we've been speaking with Tab Pierce.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tab, and thank you, Jennifer. We've had a very inspiring episode here. So we will have all of Tab's links in our show notes. And if you are looking for us on social media or on any podcast platform, we are at Leafy Legal. We would love it if you left us a comment and a rating. And we just want to say thank you again so much for being a part of today's show. And I hope that you really gained a lot of knowledge and inspiration from Tab. I know I did. So thanks everyone again for being here. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Attention real estate investors and entrepreneurs. Did you know that real estate investors are a primary target for lawsuits? According to the National Survey of the Court data, 25% of Americans risk being sued in their lifetime. However, if you are a real estate investor, you have a 95% chance of being sued in the next 20 years. Leafy Legal Services helps you protect your assets and strategically grow your business and wealth. Leafy Legal Services are experts at the Series LLC and Delaware Statutory Trust, two of the newest and most ideal legal structures for real estate investors. Leafy Legal Services have the most personalized and affordable solutions for setting up LLCs. Property owners are always at risk when it comes to their assets. Anonymity is so important. If you own just a rental house and you own your home, you have to protect yourself and your properties from any potential legal issues. Leafy Legal Services have the right solutions to make sure you are happy and feel secure. They offer cost-effective documentation that suits their clients' needs. For a free consultation and ebook, visit leafylegalservices.com. They are waiting to hear from you. leafylegalservices.com.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Don't wait. Take action now. LeafyLegalServices.com. Protect your assets, grow your business, and manage your wealth.